How's things?
It's been a busy few months for you since your last fight with Bellator. Obviously, you fought for Clan Wars and you spent a lot of time in Thailand. Can you just tell us about the time in Thailand, like why you went and what you took from it?
I wanted to go out, for one, to mix things up, change the environment, get a new outlook on things, and there's no better place to work in your striking, so that was my main goal.
So you see a lot of fighters at the moment gone over. Bang Tao, is it? Who was there anyone else over there with you?
Me and Nathan Kelly went out, and we were out for just over 5 weeks, and it was quality training. Like, took a lot from it, even in such a short space of time. I think it changed my style slightly. It gives me, I think I'm more well-rounded since, and I've changed my approach to training even since coming back.
And you enjoyed your fight with Clan Wars, obviously first pro title.
It was nice to get back, and most of my amateur career with Clan Wars, so it was nice to go back and lift the title there one more time. So.
Yeah.
Hi Darragh. Obviously this is your second fight down at featherweight. How did you find it now? I suppose we talked to you after it on the night and you said you found it good. Mm-hmm. I suppose in the camp afterwards and reflecting on it, what did you think of the move down?
Like, obviously it's a lot tougher getting down to 145. 10 pounds is a big drop. I like the discipline it takes to get down there, and obviously I'm big down there. I'm strong. I feel every bit as strong as I did at lightweight. At the same weight, so I think it does suit me slightly better. Although 10 weeks of dieting, it's not fun, but I think I'm better suited to it.
We spoke to Brian Murray earlier on, who's obviously done the opposite, gone back up in weight, and he was kind of saying it was a lot easier to, I suppose, attain new skills or improve your skills because you're not thinking about the weight cut. For you, has that been a tough thing to do, like thinking about the weight all the time?
No, it hasn't changed my training. It's just I'm sacrificing the food. That's the only extra. I'm still eating plenty, but no, I don't think it impacts my training at all, to be honest.
Obviously, a couple of fights ago, you came out and you spoke to us, and you were very disappointed with the display, even though you came out and got the win. Mm-hmm. Is that something that kind of still drives you? Obviously, you could tell that you're a winner after that. You weren't happy with the win. Was that kind of a change of point in your career? Do you think?
It definitely was. I was like, before that fight and the lead up to it, I was neglecting my striking, and I was going to wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu classes when the striking classes were on. I was doubling down on my grappling, and I knew that was an issue, and it was gonna come to the surface at some point or another. But I've addressed that since because of that fight, I suppose you could say. And it wasn't even, a lot of people said I was disappointed for going to the decision. It was more my performance that night, and I made a lot of mistakes. I made that fight very hard for myself from the mistakes I made during it, so I have taken a lot from it. But
was that a part of the reason why you went to Thailand as well? Obviously, the striking out there is very good. Yeah,
well, like I started doing a lot of striking up at home, and down here focusing on it a lot more. And then maybe it was probably about 6 months after that fight, maybe even more, that I went to Thailand then. So I just kind of I've found a love for striking now, whereas I didn't have beforehand. It was almost a task to go to the striking classes instead of the grappling. Whereas now, I could even be enjoying the striking more at the minute than the grappling. So.
Obviously, you're young in your career, but you fought pretty regularly. Are you looking to keep that going? And just the uncertainty of kind of what's happening with Bellator and what's next, is that a part of your thinking going into this fight? And what ideally, if everything goes well, where would you see yourself? Maybe next year or the year after.
Yeah, well, like in the past, for the last few years since lockdown, it's been 2 fights a year, and it's just not enough. It's hard to push yourself 100%. I find I improve most when I'm in camp, giving it everything. And it's more than just showing up when you're in camp. You really are focusing and you're dialed in. So I think 3-4 fights a year is great. That would be what I'd want. As for after Bellator, I'll go out on Saturday, go 5-0, and whatever happens then I'll leave myself in a good position. There'll be doors open, 5-0.
Just one more question on your opponent. Obviously, he had a pretty gruesome injury in his last fight. Like when you come up against someone like that, the toughness they have, obviously, to come through that and to come back fighting, that must be something I suppose you put into your preparation. That like it's not going to be an easy one against him.
Yeah. What was the injury? I wasn't even.
I think he got let me just look at it here. He got a broken artery in his kidneys or something like that. It's a pretty gruesome injury. Yeah.
All right. What side's the kidneys on? I can see he's a tough guy. He comes out from the bell and he's aggressive. He's probably the most aggressive guy I've ever fought. So, you know, as you said, he's tough. Obviously, coming back from something like that too. I need to treat him with caution. You know, there's no easy fights, so I'm going to try and get the job done.
Is there any bit of frustration? Some fighters young in their career want to fight, you know, constantly up and up and up. And I suppose he doesn't have like the best record in the world. But are you happy enough to kind of take these fights, learn the trade, and improve yourself as you go?
Look, you know, I could look into that too much. The tough fights are around the corner. I know that. I just have to get through with whoever they give me. I'll sign. That's what I've done. So.
Santiago.
Hi Darragh, thank you for the time. Your opponent, Jelle Segers, is from the Netherlands and they are mostly strikers. He's also set to make his Bellator debut. Were you able to see some film on him and what kind of opponent do you expect to see on Fight Night? Yeah, so mostly it's Dave and John who watch the film and they make the game plan, and you know, I'm very confident in the game plan they've made. They're very good at exploiting weaknesses in my opponents to date. So you know, I trust them with what they're telling me. I've watched a few of his fights. I've seen he's very aggressive, marches forward, throwing a lot of hooks, and he's got power in his hands too. So yeah. So how influential is John Kavanagh for you, and how influential is he for you to have someone like him beat you on Fight Night?
Oh, it's massive. It gives me a lot of confidence, you know, even just having John in the corner, knowing, you know, he's been there, done that, how many times. He brings a lot of experience to the table, so it's great to have him in your corner.
So there's a lot of featherweights, Pedro Carvalho, Marcel Achu, Ryan Moore spoke about you, that he trained with you. Of course, Kenny. There's a couple of featherweights. You guys are all featherweights as well. Is there a good camaraderie between you guys in the gym right before this big Bellator Dublin event comes up?
Yeah, it's brilliant having so many guys at the same weight. You know, you have no shortage of training partners, sparring partners. You know, I've done a lot of work with Brian Moore for this camp now for the first time, really, because he was coming up. And obviously I've come down, so I've done a lot of sparring with him this camp. And it's great to mix it up with all those boys. You know, you get a good look from every aspect.
Cannot wait to see you perform again. Good luck on Fight Night, sir.
Thanks.